Hi Year 3, welcome to your maths video for Thursday the 4th of February. Now this is a video for you if you've got the Year 3 maths booklet. So today we're going to be moving on to page 19 in our booklet, which has got exercise 19 at the top. And we're going to be completing all 3 sections of our booklet again today. Now before we do that, we're going to have a look at our warm-up challenge to get ready for our learning, and then I'm going to share our learning question for today. So, in our warm-up challenge today, I've got another star number, okay? So there is a number hidden behind my star. Now, I've got a problem that you need to try and figure out what number is behind my star. So have a listen to this. I added 4 to my number and multiplied it by 4, okay? So I times it and multiplied it by 4. It gave me 28, so I got the answer of 28. What number did I start with? Now, we were amazing at finding star numbers last week. I know Blake and Amelia, your work in my warm-up challenges has been amazing, so well done. Okay, so remember for our star number challenges, we have to work backwards and use the inverse operations. So if we start with the number 28, if we go backwards, the last thing I did was multiply it by 4, the number, to get to 28. So what's the opposite of multiplying? Oh, if you said dividing, well done. So we divide by 4, and then I added 4, okay, at the beginning. So what's the opposite of addition? Use the inverse operation and you will find the number, my star number that I began with. I can't wait to see who solves my problem. So pause the video now and work this out in your purple books. So let's have a look at our learning question for today. Can I solve missing number sentences and apply my knowledge of all 4 operations? Okay, so we've been using already our 4 operations when we've been doing our maths learning: addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. So we're going to continue with that, but we're also going to be solving missing number sentences. So there'll be a missing number in the middle of your number sentence, and you need to use the numbers that you've been given on that question to help you work out what that number is. So let's have a look at some questions that are similar to the questions on your section A for today. So I've got something equals 9 grams add 33 grams, subtract 6 grams, okay? Now my equal sign is at the start of my sentence, but that doesn't change anything. I'm just going to put the answer there and work out this number sentence. Now see, I've got an addition and a subtraction. So I'm going to split this into 2 parts, and I'm going to do 9 add 33 first. So 9 grams add 33 grams. Now some of you will put 33 in your head and count on 9, but I've seen that 9 is very close to 10, and 10 is really easy to add on to a number. So 33 add 10 is 43, but I've added on 1 too many because I only wanted to add on 9. So I need to take 1 away from 43, which is 42 grams. So I've worked out the first part of my number sentence. I now need to subtract 6 grams from 42 grams. And you see, I'm making a note of my calculation as I go, okay? So I'm going to put 42 in my head. Can you count back 6 with me? So that's 42, 41, 40, 39, 38, 37, 36, okay? So the answer is 36 grams. Don't forget to put that measurement on the end if it's been included in our number sentences. Okay, let's have a look at another similar one that you have in your startup section. I've got half of something centimetres equals 35 centimetres. So I've got a fraction there, half of something, I've got a missing number, equals 35 centimetres. So I'm going to use the number and the information I've been given at the start of this sentence. Now, a fraction, I know, is part of a whole. So I'm going to draw my whole pizza. I'm going to split it into halves. Okay, so that's 2 equal pieces. Now, it's told me that half of something equals 35. Well, that must mean that 1/2 then equals 35 centimetres. That's the value of that half. Now we know fractions like to be equal and the same. So if this half is worth 35 centimetres, this half has to be the same. Okay, so we know the opposite of half is to double. So all I need to do is add those two numbers together to get my answer. So I'm going to do a column addition. So I'm going to do 35, add 35. Okay. So, starting with our ones, 5 add 5 is 10. Put my 0 in, carry my 10 and exchange it under the tens column. 3 tens add 3 tens is 6 tens. Add my 1 10 here, let's not forget it. That's 7 tens. So a half of 70 centimetres is 35 centimetres. And now my number sentence makes sense. So make sure you always check your number sentences before moving on. Okay, let's have a look at some more questions then. So we've got another missing number sentence here. I've got 562 equals 612, subtract something. So what have I taken away from 612 to get to 562? I need to work out the difference between those two numbers. Now if I look at those numbers carefully, the numbers I've been given, they've got the same ones but different tens and different hundreds. So I can count in my tens. So I'm going to count up in my tens from 562 until I get to 612. Can you count with me? So 562 in my head, let's count up in our tens. 572, 582, 592, 602, 612. How many tens was that? Well, if you said 5, well done. And we know we write 5 tens as 50. So 612 subtract 50 equals 562. Okay. Right, let's have a look at this one then. I've got 100 ml or millilitres equals 33 millilitres add something. So I need to work out what I add on to 33 to get to 100. And there's a couple of ways that you can do this. So you could use a number line starting at 33 and do some jumps to get to 100. So I'm going to keep jumping up in my tens and then see how close I can get. So can you count in your tens with me from 33? So 33, that will be 43, 53, 63, 73, 83, 93. So I've got to 93 there and I've jumped in tens. So that's 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. But what do I add on to my 3 ones to get us to 100? Use your number bonds. 3 add what will get me to 100? Well, I need to add on 7 more, don't I? So you can add up your jumps of your number lines. That's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. 60 add 7 is 67. So you could do it that way. Or use the numbers again that you've been given. To work out the difference, we could do 100 subtract 33 will give us that number there. So you could do a column subtraction. Make sure you're lining up your tens and your ones. There's my tens column and there's my ones column. And I get my ruler and start from the ones column, okay? So it's up to you how you want to work that one out, okay? Final question then for this section. I've got 2 months multiplied by something equals a year. Now if I think about my knowledge of time, how many months are there in a year? Well, do you know the number? Well, if you said 12, well done. So I know that there's 12 months in a year. So now I know that, I can use my times table knowledge. What do I multiply by 2 to get to 12? Let's count in our 2s. Ready? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. What's that? It's 6. So I've multiplied my 2 months by 6 to get to my 12 months. Okay. So what I'd like you to do now is pause the video and complete your section A, filling in those missing numbers and using all 4 of your operations. And then when you unclick pause, we're going to go through our Intergear section and our tough challenge for today. Okay, so let's have a look at our Intergear section questions. You've got something very similar to this. Find 2 quarters of 46. So the question's asking me to find 2 quarters of 46. Okay, now 2 quarters, there's a fraction that's equivalent to 2 quarters. So if I draw that out, so we know quarters, we're splitting it into 4 equal parts. And if I've got 2 of them parts, because I've got 2 out of my 4 parts, that's 2 quarters. What fraction do you know that's also the same as? We'll have a look at this. I think lots of you will be shouting at my video in a minute. What fraction is that? Oh, if you said a half, well done. So 2 quarters is the same as a half. Okay, so this question is asking us to find a half of 46. And I know a half of 40 is 20 and a half of 6 is 3. So if I put them together, I have got 23. I've found a half. Because I know that 2 quarters is equivalent to a half. Okay. Another similar question that you've got on your Intergear section, I've got make 6, 4 times larger. Okay, I'm going to read that question again. Make 6 4 times larger. I've got that word there, times. What operation do we do when we're using times? Or if you said multiplication, well done. So I'm going to make 6 4 times larger. So that's 6 times 4. Now, we haven't learnt our 6 times table yet, but we do know our 4 times table. So are you ready to count in your 4s with me up to 6 times 4? You ready? 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. 24. Okay, so I've made 6 4 times larger and got the answer of 24. So if you want to pause the video again, go and complete your Intergear section. Okay. Now finally, we're going to move on to our tough challenge questions. And remember, in our tough challenge section, we get lots of word problems, so get your pencil at the ready to underline any keywords and numbers that you need to be using. So Dan bought a chocolate bar for 66p. How much change did he get from £1? So he's bought a chocolate bar for 66p. But when he went to buy it, he didn't give them 66p, he gave them £1. So we need to work out what change he gets back from his pound, okay? Now, I've got pounds there and pence. So how many pennies are in £1? If you said 100, well done. Now when we're working out change then, we need to complete a subtraction. So I'm going to do, in column method, 100 pence, because I know that's equivalent. That's the same as saying £1, because there's 100 pennies in a pound. And I'm going to subtract 66p. Right, so I'm going to find my tens column, so 6 tens, find my ones column, and then you would complete your column subtraction. Now, if I'm just looking at that, I'm going to have a little go at this. It's been a while since I've done a column subtraction. Okay. Oh dear, what have you noticed there? Can I do 0 take away 6 ones? No, so there's more on the floor. I'm going to have to go next door and get some more. But next door doesn't have any more. So I'm going to have to go next door again, where we've got that 100 there. So I'm going to have to exchange it. Now I've got no hundreds. And I've got to give it to the tens column. So I've got 10 tens there now, but that still hasn't solved my problem here, because I need to get some more back here for my ones column, don't I? So I'm going to have to exchange the tens. So what's 10? Take away 1. 10 tens take away 1 10 is 9 tens. And then I've now got 10 pence in my ones column. So what's 10 take away 6? Ooh, if you said 4, well done. And now remember, I've got 9 take away 6. 9, 8, 7, 6, that's 3. And I've got nothing in my hundreds column, so my answer must be 34p. Okay, right. Another question that you have in your tough challenge is a third of 21 pairs is how many? Okay, now a third, we write it as 1 over 3 because we're splitting them into 3 equal groups. Our denominator tells us that. And I'm finding a third of 21, which they've wrote in words. So remember, when we're finding a fraction of a number, we can divide the number by our denominator. So how many 3's go into 21? Can you count in your 3 times table with me? 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21. That's 7. And my numerator tells me I only want one lot of that 7. So that's 7. So a third of 21 pairs would be 7 pairs. Now, if you're struggling to count in your 3's, remember a fraction is part of a whole. So there's my whole pizza. I'm going to split it into those 3 equal groups, and I can share my pairs out, my 21 pairs out equally between those 3 groups, and you just need to count how many pairs you've got in one of those sections. Okay. Now, I have spotted a tricky question in your tough challenge. Now, some of you may just want to have a go at this yourself. So if you do, you can pause the video now and good luck year 3 and make sure you send me in all the pictures of your fabulous work and can you solve my warm-up challenge from earlier on. If you want to go through this together though, I'm going to have a go now, okay? So we've got the science lesson starts at 11 o'clock and finishes at 5 to 12. How many minutes is this? So how long is that science lesson? So I've got my clock here and I've got my big hand, my minute hand pointing up at the 12, which we know is o'clock. And I've got my hour hand, my short hand, facing the 11. So that tells me it's 11 o'clock because it's on the hour of 11. So my science lesson has started at 11 o'clock this time. But it finishes at 5 to 12. So that's 5 minutes until 12 o'clock. So if we just refresh our memory on our clock, we've got o'clock at the top. Every number we count 5 minutes on. So from 12 o'clock we do 5, 10, 15, 20 and so on until we get all the way around, and that's 60 minutes in an hour. Now if we have a look at this side, this is the past side, the minutes past. Whereas this side, if I get my blue pen out, after it's gone past half past, my minute hand on the 6 facing half past, we have the to side, and that's how many minutes to the next hour. So it told me that the science lesson started at 11 and it finished at 5 minutes to 12. Okay, so that minute hand has got to go all the way around to the to side, and we know 5 to, right, it's 5 minutes to the next hour is the 11. So can you count in your 5 with me, and we'll count how many minutes it takes to get all the way around the clock to the 11, which is 5 to. Are you ready? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55. So it takes 55 minutes. They are in that science lesson 4, okay? So good luck on your work today, year 3. Can't wait to see all your fabulous pictures of it and see who could solve my warm-up challenge. Good luck, and I'll see you soon.